The opening scene begins with a teacher taking attendance at K-beauty school. She calls the name Lee Bongju, and despite the student responding, she is still marked absent. After this, the teacher announces to everyone the rule, which states that those without makeup will be marked absent. Following this, we are taken into the past where Bongju is servicing her client in a beauty salon. There, one of the clients is extremely impressed with Bongju's makeup skills, and she offers her the opportunity to enroll at the renowned K-beauty school. It is revealed that the client is none other than the director of K-beauty school. Later, while returning home, Bongju shares the news with her best friend Mia, who says that students at K-beauty are like idols. However, Bongju does not appear to be ready for school because she is focused on her part-time job. She mentions that she doesn't have time to study, but Mia convinces her to give it a try, mentioning that it will provide her with some valuable knowledge, which can get her more clients. The following day, when Bongju arrives at K-beauty school, a student by the name of Ganan approaches her. He leads her to the lecture hall while describing the school and its reputation. He introduces her to a number of students, beginning with Nam Gongwon, a student who excels in makeup and art. He then introduces one Jarana, who always wears heavy makeup, and no one has ever seen her bare face. Following this, Ganan tells her about Yu Youngyeon, who is terrifying, Do-hee, who only smiles when he is full, and lastly, a student named Young Ha-in. Just then, the main professor named Young Moo Mal arrives in the class. The scene then continues with Young Moo Mal taking attendance. After the lecture, a guy informs them about a student named Taejin, who has challenged Nam Gongwon to a beauty competition. Hearing this, the class hurries to the competition location. The person who executes the best makeup application wins the challenge. Nam Gongwon selects a female audience member to apply the makeup, whereas Taejin chooses Bongju. Taejin then carefully applies the makeup to Bongju and makes her look stunning. Later at home, Bongju shows her dolled-up picture to Mia, who is impressed and praises her beauty. However, Bongju is concerned because no one is interested in her services. She then starts to interact with her clients online in an effort to get them to her products. In the next scene, we see Bongju rushing through her makeup because she is late for class. In school, Nam Gongwon is talking to Gonan, who is surprised that he has finished his assignment due to his lack of knowledge of beauty theory. Later in class, Bongju arrives with heavy makeup on her face, but to her dismay, she is again marked absent. Just then, Young Ha, who is sitting next to her, takes out a makeup tool and fixes her eyebrows. As soon as he finishes the makeup, Bongju is marked present. Following this, the professor begins her lecture on brows, and after a while, she requests that Bongju and Nam Gongwon resubmit their assignments, as the previous ones had a lot of inappropriate answers in it. After the class, Bongju tells Wang Rina that she wears too much makeup, which ages her skin. Bongju then presents her product claiming that it may be useful to her, but the latter walks away angrily. On her way home, Bongju comes across an advertisement for a modeling gig that pays 500,000 won per session. She immediately heads to the location, which turns out to be a large mansion. When she arrives, she is surprised to see Nam Gongwon as the makeup artist. Nam Gongwon misinterprets that she is attracted to him and requests that she not follow him. Bongju quickly clears up the confusion and mentions that she is there for the modeling. Hearing this, Nam Gongwon starts the session. After doing some makeup, he begins working on his painting, which appears to be his hobby. Bongju asks when she will receive her payment, to which he responds that she must stay for 3 hours. After 3 hours, he hands over 300,000 won, saying she deserves only that much, making her angry. Elsewhere, Gonan and her classmates are in a restaurant, and Gonan is pissed because their French fries are taking too long. He confronts the storekeeper and expresses his displeasure. When the storekeeper compliments him, his mood immediately improves, and he starts liking her. The storekeeper is none than Bongju's best friend, Mi Yat. Meanwhile, Bongju visits a cosmetic store where she meets Young Ha-in. Following that, They sit in a park and have some cold drinks. Bongju believes that Nam Gongwon is not a nice person and advises Young to stay away from him. However, she is surprised to learn that Young has been friends with Nam Gongwon for 10 years. Later at home, Bongju finds out that her mother is unable to sell products, so she decides to sell it online. She then logs into her business ID, Beauty God, and speaks with a regular customer who purchases her product in bulk. The regular customer is revealed to be none other than Nam Gongwon. In the next scene, Bongju is in the classroom preparing her products to give to her classmates. Following this, she approaches Go Rina and offers her a free cosmetic product in exchange for feedback, but Go Rina declines, claiming that selling cosmetics in school is not okay. Just then, it is announced that the chairwoman of Johnson's has once again visited their school, so they will be selecting a student to do the chairwoman's makeup. Hearing this, everyone becomes uneasy. Bongju questions Go Na about why the students are nervous and fearful, to which he responds that the chairwoman is a notorious perfectionist who no one can please. After a while, the class teacher asks for a volunteer, but when no one stands up, Bongju is chosen. Later, as Bongju is about to leave her home, Nam Gongwon invites her to come back for another session. She initially refuses because he did not pay her for the last time, but when Nam Gongwon promises to not trick her again, she agrees. Later, she goes to the session, and Nam Gongwon begins doing her makeup. Surprisingly, he only applies her makeup until the guard stays. As soon as the guard leaves, he resumes his painting. Bongju learns that his family doesn't permit him to work as a painter, which is why he hires her. After fulfilling her time, Bongju asks for her pay of 700,000 won, but Nam Gongwon hands her a document instead. He states that the document contains information about the chairwoman, which is worth more than 700,000 won. Once again, Bongju is left feeling jilted and enraged. In the evening, she again meets Young at a cosmetic store. He inquires about her preparation for the following day, but Bongju is still unprepared. As a result, he agrees to help her. Then, they both go to school, where he shows her some drafts created by some seniors. He also mentions that the chairwoman prefers to wear makeup based on her upcoming event. Suddenly, Bongju recalls the document given by Nam Gongwon and takes it out of her bag. With it, the two learn the chairwoman's preferences and prepare the makeup accordingly. Before leaving, Young lends his makeup box to Bongju, and the gesture delights her. Following this, Bongju returns home, where her mother massages her face with special mineral water. She asks her mother if she can take some water to school the next day, to which the latter agrees. The next morning at school, Bongju is upset because she has misplaced the makeup box. Despite this, she enters the office room with some other equipment. However, as soon as she sees the chairwoman, she gets nervous and refuses to put on the makeup. When the chairwoman questions her, she explains that even high-quality makeup can have a negative impact on the skin if used excessively. She then gives her a face massage with the special mineral water, convincing her that it will energize her skin. While massaging, she also says that the reflects what's in one's heart. Surprisingly, the chairwoman is convinced by Bongju's words. Later, Bongju shares the experience with her classmates and gets praised by everyone. However, she is still unable to locate the makeup box. At night, all of the classmates celebrate at Bongju's house and decide to sleep there. The next morning, when Bongju and Youngwon wake up, they notice Garina sleeping by their side. They see Garina's bare face for the first time and believe that she is very beautiful. However, as Bongju is clearing Garina's face, she wakes up and storms out enraged. Later at school, Garina discovers that her bare face photograph has been posted on the internet. As a result, she confronts Bongju and slaps her, accusing her of having posted it. Bongju tries to explain that she didn't do it, but Garina doesn't listen. Following this, the other students discuss the situation, and Youngwon reveals that she sent the picture to Garina's close friend, who is the culprit. She also reveals that Garina's mother Tina is a top model with a reputation for being a perfectionist, and she has had high expectations for her daughter's face. However, Tina found Garina to be ugly in her childhood, so she has never shown her bare face since. During their conversation, Nam Gum-won looks at Garina's picture and notices the same packing ribbon that he receives when he orders products from Beauty God. Since it was Bongju's house, he realizes that the Beauty God is none other than Bongju herself. The next morning, Nam Gum-won approaches Bongju, who confirms that she is Beauty God. She can't stop laughing when she realizes he's her regular customer. Nam Gum-won forbids her from telling anyone because he doesn't want others to know that despite enrolling in such a prestigious school, he has been seeking assistance from random websites. Following this, Bongju begins making fun of him every chance she gets. She also blackmails him into signing a fool's agreement, mentioning that he is a fool. In class, they are given an assignment that must be completed in pairs. Bongju asks Young Ha-in to be her partner. As a result, Nam Gum-won fears that she may reveal his secret. Later in the restroom, Garina overhears the girl suspecting her of hiding Bongju's makeup box. She immediately goes to Bongju and tells her that she didn't hide the makeup box, to which Bongju responds that she hasn't doubted her. Elsewhere, Go-nam is upset, as he has mistakenly messaged Mi-yeon. However, when he gets a reply, he is delighted. After class, Bongju arrives at her part-time job, but she asks Nam Gum-won to let her leave early because she needs to meet Young Ha-in for an assignment. After the session, Nam Gum-won finally pays her before leaving, but surprisingly Go-nam and Do-hee notice it from afar. Curious, the two head to Nam Gum-won's room and ask about it, but the latter doesn't say anything. In the next scene, it's revealed that Young Ha-in's father doesn't support him in his career choice, and as a result, his hands shake while applying makeup. He tells Bongju about the issue, and as expected, she agrees to help him. The next day, Bongju reminds Young Ha of a doctor's appointment, and as she is about to leave, she notices the makeup box outside her house. A flashback reveals that she had accidentally grabbed a toolbox instead of her makeup kit. When she reached the school, a staff member carried the toolbox away, assuming that it had ended up there by mistake. Back in the present, Bongju meets Young Ha-in and takes him to the doctor to have his shaky hands treated. After that, they head out to the streets and enjoy their time there. Meanwhile, Nam Gum-won discovers that Bongju is with Young, and gets concerned that she will reveal his secret. He calls her several times, but each time she hangs up, making him even more agitated. After a few hours, he starts getting paranoid, so he decides to visit her at her place. Elsewhere, Bongju takes Young Ha into her house, where her mother massages his face. She employs a variety of minerals that aid in stress reduction and skin healing. During the massage, Young Ha-in expresses that he hasn't spoken to his parents since he started school because they didn't approve of his chosen career. Hearing this, Bongju's mother reveals details from Bongju's childhood, when she was too poor to fulfill her wish. She also believes that parents constantly see their own flaws in their children. She then consoles him by saying that parents love their children even when they don't express it. Hearing this, Young becomes emotional. Before leaving, Bongju gives him a bracelet and wishes him a speedy recovery. Nam Gum-won, who is hiding outside, keeps an eye on them. The following day at school, the professor teaches the students how to develop face masks. She claims that anyone who can create a good face mask will be able to sell it on the market. Furthermore, she tells him about an upcoming program in which they will be doing makeup on elderly people and promoting long life. After the class, the professor summons Bongju and informs her that the chairwoman wants her to be her personal makeup artist. The professor also claims that this opportunity will help her gain international recognition. However, Bongju will have to leave the school and the entire country if she wants to take advantage of the opportunity. This leaves her confused, so she decides to give an answer later. Meanwhile, Nam Gum-won overhears the conversation and is saddened. He appears to enjoy Bongju's company, but he does not express his feelings for her. Even while sleeping, he can't stop thinking about her. In the following scene, we see students traveling to a village to apply makeup to elderly people. Bongju is tasked with applying makeup to an elderly woman, Mal Seok. Miss Mal Seok appears to be mentally unstable after her husband's death, and she is currently refusing to have her makeup done. When Nam Gum-won notices this, he tries to persuade her, but she misidentifies him as her husband and becomes emotional. Surprisingly, Nam Gum-won goes along with her and persuades her to put on makeup. After finishing her makeup, Bong-ju heads to the bathroom, and when she returns, she discovers that Miss Mal Seok has gone missing. Alarmed, the leader, Bong-ju, and Nam Gum-won rush to find her. Fortunately, Nam Gum-won finds Miss Mal Seok, who gives him a muffler, thinking he is her husband. After a while, Bong-ju and the leader track them down. According to the leader, Nam Gum-won looks exactly like her husband, and seeing the woman's happiness makes them emotional. The group chats for a while and ends the day with a group picture. At night, Nam Gum-won and Young Ha-in are talking about their love interests. They both think about Bong-yu, but neither of them expresses their feelings. In the other room, Bong-ju, Jurina, and Young Yeon are trying on their newly released face masks. Meanwhile, Gonan musters the courage to dial Mia's number. The next morning before leaving the village, Miss Mal Seok approaches Nam Gum-won and gives him a gift, asking him to return soon. The next day at school, the professor announces the open makeup test in which students must apply makeup in front of the administration and other students. She also mentions that the theme and model will be determined on the day of the event. The professor also requests that Bong-ju make a decision on the opportunity as soon as possible. Later, when Nam Gum-won returns home, he discovers that his grandfather has removed his paintings. Just then, Grandpa arrives and chastises him for painting against his orders. This enrages Nam Gum-won, who yells that this is the exact reason why his father died. Hearing this, Grandpa slaps him across the face, breaking his heart. Elsewhere, Bong-ju tells Young Ha-in about the opportunity, which makes him sad because she has to leave. She believes that if she seizes the opportunity, she will be able to make a lot of money, thereby making her mother's life more comfortable. However, Young doesn't want her to go, adding to her confusion. In the next scene, as Bong-ju arrives at Nam Gum-won's house for her part-time job, she notices his paintings thrown to the side. Confused, she immediately enters and notices that his room has also been changed. She questions Nam about what happened, but he remains silent and tells her to leave because he no longer needs her. Bong-ju tries to console him, but the latter doesn't want to listen. After Bong-ju reaches home, she informs her mother about her plans to work abroad, and the latter is happy for her daughter's future. The following day, when Bong-ju and Young Ha-in are having a chat, she suddenly asks about Nam Gum-won. Surprisingly, Young becomes envious of hearing his name. In the evening, Gonan and Mi-ya are having dinner in a restaurant. Gonan notices that she is different and a little less attractive than before. He indirectly asks Mi-ya about it, and expectedly, she gets offended and walks out. Meanwhile, Bong-ju visits Nam Gum-won's house to return his discarded painting tools and advises him not to give up on painting. She also tells him not to abandon his dreams so easily. When Nam hears this, he becomes emotional and hugs her from behind, surprising her. The next day at school, Bong-ju reveals to her friends about her once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She also informs them about her decision to leave the next day, during the final evaluation. Although Young Ha-in and Nam Gum-won pretend to be happy for her, deep down, they are sad. Later, while packing her belongings at home, Bong-ju finds the fool's agreement, which reminds her of Nam Gum-won. Just then, she receives a call from the leader, informing her of Malsok's death. In the next scene, Bong-ju and Nam Gum-won pay a visit to her place, where the leader informs them that Mrs. Malsok was overjoyed after meeting Nam Gum-won. The leader also expresses gratitude on Ms. Malsok's behalf. After this, Nam Gum-won drops Bong-ju off at home and waves goodbye. Before leaving, he asks if it's okay if he waits for her, leaving her speechless. This time, Young Ha-in, who arrives with a gift for Bong-ju, overhears their conversation and becomes heartbroken. The next day, Bong-ju is on her flight about to take off, when she recalls all the memories she made with her friends and family. On the other hand, Bong-ju's classmates are already starting to miss her. Soon, the students begin their preparation for their final exam. As the test is about to begin, they suddenly see Bongju, and as a result, everyone's mood cheers up. Following that, the open makeup test begins, with Young Yeon in Dooji doing Jo Rina's makeup, and Nam Gumwon, Young Ha-in, in Gonan, doing Bongju's makeup. Young Ha-in is concerned about his shaky hands, but Nam Gumwon encourages them to overcome it. With this, Young Ha becomes motivated, and with a lot of hard work, completes his task flawlessly. He also notices his father in the audience, who finally appears pleased for him. After a while, Bongju's mother and Mi-ya show up to watch her perform. It's revealed that Bongju got off the plane because she chose a happier alternative. She also believes that her friends are the reason why youth is beautiful, despite having bumps. In the following scene, we see Bongju and Nam Gumwon practicing their makeup. Just then, he expresses his joy at having her back, and kisses her. In the final scene, we see the professor taking attendance, and she marks a new girl, Lee Se-young, as absent. Despite her response, Gonan then informs her about the rule, in the same way he informed Bongju, while other students chuckle. Thanks for watching this recap. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next movie recaps. Stay tuned for more exciting recaps.